I
Yeah.
can just say season 3, episode 1.
Yes, you
Welcome to 2022. We don't need to check what show we're on.
That's
This is
true.
about the only show I'll get the right number on.
can. Maybe
all
next
year.
one too.
Maybe.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, we are into 2022, officially a week in. And it's been utter chaos on my end. And you had an eventful morning as well.
Yep.
But let's jump off. Where did we leave off last show?
I believe the last show we talked about my previous businesses and stuff.
Yes, you
Yeah.
did. And you talked about your hospital stay.
Yes, that's right.
Which is super scary and super lucky.
I forgot to take my medicine today. Oops. I'll do that after this.
There you go.
I'll remind you as we sign off. I'll remind you as we sign off.
And I
Just to
usually
make
don't
sure we
forget.
Oh, I forgot my vitamins today.
It's one of those
We
days.
both-
See, we're all having it.
It's a weird one. My dog just ate a Nerf bullet. And
Ooh.
he's coming out of surgery. So my mornings are always a little, because normally I just let him outside with his collar and he stays in the yard. But obviously that's not allowed. So like, got to leash him up. And he hates his cone. So
Don't they all?
it's been fun. So what's going on with 2022? I know you were going to get into some new stuff. What do you got
Absolutely.
cooking? What do you got cooking?
So, what I have cooking is that we're into 2022, like you said. So officially, my Just Ask John coaching is live.
Nice.
So that is exciting. I'm working on getting a team. I've already got things happening. I had a call this morning, and it was about a place in Scarborough, which for me is past my borders of what I would do. So, I mean, I was ready to say no, not interested.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening is it's a referral from somebody I know that's a good friend, close friend. So clearly I've become that person's go-to. So I got worried that if I say no, she'll go back to him and say, oh, well, he can't do it. And then they'll, he'll refer somebody else and I'm no longer the go-to.
Yeah.
Right.
So as a result, I decided I had to figure this out. I thought, I remembered a conversation, how I said I was going to build a team and stuff. So I thought, you know what? I have a bunch of agents in my little group on WhatsApp, right? That we communicate with each other. Let's see if somebody wants to co-list with me. This could be my way to, test out my theory.
Here you go.
So it's exactly what I did. And I got somebody on board.
Perfect.
Nice.
So yeah, exactly. So that's where I started off today with in terms of that. So I'm testing out this theory, see how I can pull it off, if I can build a team and I'm ready for it.
You'll have a team before you know it.
Yeah.
What I really like is that you're confident in your skill set and you're jumping in and saying like, I'm going to figure out the little details. There's a lot of people that the fear of like, okay, I don't have a team set up, or I don't have this, or I don't have that. And then it just stops them from doing what they want to do. So the fact that you're jumping in and you build the team after you get everything set, it's working.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, no action is definitely a sure way to fail.
Absolutely. 100%.
Right? Like I said, some action you may pick it wrong, but no action, you definitely got it wrong.
I feel like that's for every sector of your life too.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Like, my husband and I got a harebrained idea like since 2022 happened, and we're like, let's start another business. Why not? I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna try it.
Why not? You have nothing to lose. Worst case scenario, you're back to where you started.
Exactly. And then we have extra Christmas presents for next year. So
well, exactly. You know what? I'll give you my address so you can send me one.
Exactly.
But no, that's not going to happen even if I gave you the address, because it's going to work.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's what people keep telling me, and I'm hoping it happens. So, but yeah.
We are the hardest critics of ourselves.
That is true.
Yeah.
Like my coaching business has just started. And already I've told myself a few times that maybe I should just focus on the team, put the coaching on the side. Don't worry about it. I haven't put that much money into it yet. Mm-hmm. Just take my lumps and just build my team and build on that first.
Mhm.
But then I keep asking myself, why am I trying to excuse myself out of this? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it makes no sense. I'm good at it.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, and my skills, as we talked about before, are beyond real estate. Even if I go back, look, let's be honest. We're back in lockdown in Ontario. Now,
Yeah.
once this COVID
Are you
crap is
really?
over, oh yeah, it's kind of pathetic too. I think this is the worst one of them all.
Oh my gosh.
And when I
Sorry to
say
hear it.
worst one of them all, I don't mean because we're so locked down, like more things are locked down. It's almost like we're half committed to a lockdown.
Mm.
So you can do this, but you can't do that, but you can go here, but you can't go there. Only certain people can go here, but certain people can't go there. But you got to be double vax for this. For that one, you might be triple vax. We might be talking about a fourth vax. And I'm sitting there going like, none of this is logical. Like, you know what I mean? Like, whatever, right? Like,
Yeah.
it is what it is. This is beyond my control. But the point I'm getting at with this fourth lockdown thing, when all this stuff goes down, again, goes back to normal, whatever the new normal is going to be, there's going to be a lot of businesses that are going to open up the way they opened up before, and it's not going to work. So even if I wanted to step outside of the realtor network, I have experience in hospitality.
Mhm.
Those people are going to need my help. They're going to need me more than I need them.
Right. Right.
And I'll need them too. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
so you understand what I'm saying? So like, it's one of those things, there's opportunity everywhere. So I don't know why I'm second guessing myself.
True.
It makes no sense whatsoever. There's so many avenues. The opportunities are out there. And there's more and more people doing it, which means there's a demand for it. It's simple.
Yeah.
But where I'm
That's
going
a
with that
math
is
equation at that point.
everyone tells himself that story. Right. So it's a matter of what you do with it.
That is true. And you said something that it resonated with me because I know that I've started journaling in 2022. That's like my thing. I want to make at least 300 journal entries this year, just about my day and what happened and what I want to do tomorrow. Just keep myself honest. And one of the things that I was reading on in terms of like what would help you in your journal is your self-talk. And you were saying like we're our harshest critics. And
Yes.
it's super weird because it hit me where I'm like, okay, when I'm talking to people like other entrepreneurs who are trying to start and trying to build something, like I don't call them an idiot. I don't say their ideas are dumb. But like to me, I'm like, God, you're such an idiot. How do you not see that?
Oh my
And I'm
God.
like,
I feel you with that. I 100.
So like I write down all of those negative phrases that I said to myself. So like if I forgot something at the hardware store or forgot to order something or forgot a call and it hits me like I forgot my vitamins. My initial reaction is like, God, you're so dumb. Now you have to go home. That's 10 minutes out of your day that you have to run back. So in my journal tonight, I have to write down what I just said to myself so that I can become more aware of how I'm talking to myself.
Right.
So that I can obviously change the tune with it.
Funny that
Right. Now,
because my New Year's resolution was to be kinder to everybody else. And I didn't even think about being kinder to myself.
Yeah. And I'm not saying like hall passes for myself.
No.
Like I mess up and I'm like, it's okay, bud. You're going to be all right. Like I'm going to be honest with myself completely, but I'm also not going to call myself an idiot.
Right.
Or try.
Right. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm similar to what you just said about the journal. I don't know if you guys have heard of Darren Hardy.
No.
But he used to be the editor or publisher of Success Magazine before it was sold off. And he's big time into coaching now and helping other people with success mentoring. He has this Living Your Best Life Ever or something like that it's called. And it's like a journal program. He has this whole program for it. I ordered his journal because I'm going to get into the journaling just like you just said.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I've learned, I get the idea of why you're going to put in, oh, I'm an idiot, like in your journal, just so you remember your thoughts.
Yeah.
Right. But here's another way of looking at it. And just a suggestion, because every time you read that, you're putting yourself back into a negative mindset.
Yeah. That's
right?
Not my only part of the journal, but I'm interested to hear what you got to add.
Right. Well, I believe in positive affirmations. I believe in when you write goals, I don't write goals down as in I want to, for example, I want to buy a second property by December of 2022, as an example. I won't write that. I'll say I'm going to look for a rental for my new property that I would picked up by December. So I've already fixed that goal in my head as if I've already done it.
Yep.
Then I've got to go work on it to make sure I don't make myself look like a fool for writing that, claiming I already have it when I don't.
Yeah.
So then you're going to work twice as hard to make sure keep yourself accountable. Now, where I'm
Yep.
going with that, rather than saying I wrote, coming down saying I'm an idiot, I left my computer at home, and I wasted 20 minutes. Why not put it down and said, hey, you know what? I got a great learning lesson today that cost me 20 minutes of my time.
Yep.
So next time I've realized that I've got to ensure that I have that computer in my car before I even lock up the house. Or, something positive where you've already done it. You've already fixed it.
Yeah. And
right.
I
Because
thought
you're
about,
leaving out the negative from that.
yeah. And I thought about like getting a journal that's already pre-boxed in, but like, I know my weakness is I'm not a writer. So I was like, okay, I don't need like a necessary, like a blueprint for a journal. I just got to hit on some key parts. So I researched like what are some goods and bads for journals and what you should enter in. So basically I write down what my energy level was that day. And then like how productive I was, just numbers out of 1 to 10. I had a 6 energy, but I feel like I was a 4 productive or an 8 productive, just in like the top corner. And then I write when I woke up, when I went to bed the night before, so I can track how much sleep I got, who I talked to in the day, 3 good things, 3 bad things, 3 positive thoughts I had for myself, 3 negative thoughts I had for myself. And then it's more about planning for tomorrow, personal and business planning. So that, okay, I messed these 3 things up, or I did these 3 things well. So I must have done something in the planning the day before to set myself up for success on these 3 and for failure on these 3. So what am I going to do tomorrow so that I can eliminate those negatives?
Right.
And then perpetuate the positives. So that's kind of how my journal goes. And it's all chicken scratch because that's my penmanship. It's all notes. So just bullet point notes of what's going on rather than like a long paragraph. And to be honest, it's honestly just the easiest path. I don't want to force myself to do a long page journal if I'm not a writer. But people that love writing, do your long journal. Like that's how you're going to get your benefit. It's your journal. So like you do it the way you're going to get yourself out of it and the goods out of it. So, but yeah, I do put in that positive spin of kind of like, okay, it happened, but what's another way we can think about it? Or, okay, I forgot my computer at home. I didn't decide to go back. I still called myself an idiot. But at the end of the day, I really didn't need my computer. I did it on my phone. It was okay. The world didn't end.
I always kind of look at it too, like if I forget something at home and I have to run back, I'm like, maybe I ran back home to avoid like a really big accident or something. Like I always try to spin it in that way too, to be like, okay, it happened, but maybe it prevented something else worse from happening.
Yeah.
Right. See, now that's the thing, Marcus. I'm going to tell you something. Like, I'm going to force myself to do this journal. And what I mean by that is that I want to do it because I believe it's part of being successful. It's tracking. Tracking is part of everything. What you did, what you're going to do, where you're going. Like, I think that's a fundamental part. I'm terrible at journaling, very terrible. Now, I had a coach myself for real estate last year. And I mean, for 9 months of last year, I had the coach and I did everything I was supposed to do, but I always failed on journaling. I have less resistance to writing a check for $30,000 to invest into something, even if I have to use my line of credit to do it, where most people are hesitant. I have less hesitation on that than I do to pull out the journal and start writing in it. What?
Feel you on that. have wanted to journal for a long time. Like I found a journal that my dad used to keep when he was alive. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's so meaningful. But then I go and pick up the pen and I freeze.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel too vulnerable to write out what I'm feeling.
See, for me, it's not the vulnerability. I don't know why I can't put myself past the moment that it feels like a waste of time to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it. Logically, I'm thinking it in my head, and I can come up with a logical reason to do it.
Yeah.
But then sometimes, it's sort of like, as an example, the last time when I did it, when I had the coach, it'll be 9 p.m. and I'm exhausted. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to watch a show. Then I'll go do my journal.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Which really, what I'm doing is I'm excusing myself to procrastinate.
Yes, exactly. You're procrastinating.
Because let's look what's going to happen. 9 o'clock will happen. I'll be on the couch to watch TV. But now, I'm tired, so I'm going to lie down instead of sit up.
Yeah.
And then whatever happens, I'm going to tell you what happens, because every time I go home when I used to have those late night meetings, I said I'm going to go home to watch TV, but the truth is the TV is going to watch me. So you can tell what happened when I lie down.
Yes.
Then I wake up at 2 in the morning, the TV's on some blank screen, and I'm like, I don't even know what I was watching. I maybe got 10 minutes of it and I passed out.
Right.
So now it's 2 in the morning, and we know I'm not going to do the journaling at 2 in the morning. And that becomes, I'll do it in the morning. When I do it in the morning, oh, well, my plans are something else and I'm going to disrupt that. I'll do it again tonight, and I'll do it for both nights. And then it never happens.
Right.
Right. So I've always had excuses for the journaling. Again, I understand the logic on the perspective that we talk about, but I can't get my head into the logic of doing it.
So I was the same way, and I've always been told, like, journaling, and you go to these conventions and they talk about, like, okay, your to-do lists, or we've got this handy book, you just write in everything in this book and it blocks it out perfectly, and this is your roadmap to success. And I was like, I don't need those. Like, I've got my way, it's working, it's gotten me here. I don't need a journal, I don't need a log. But for some reason, Matthew McConaughey spoke to me. He was on some podcast, and he journals strictly just for to find similarities, to find patterns. So he would journal, and I think it hit me so well is because, like, that's what I do. I look for stats. I look for little niche avenues where there's I don't even know how to put it. There's patterns in it, and this is where the market is going. This pattern is showing me that this is where we need to go, but I wouldn't do it for myself. So if I can look back and I can say, all right, consistently talking to this person, I've got good conversations. We've got good ideas going. Energy is good between us. If I can write that down and I can go through my days, right, good days, and I'm seeing this name consistently pop up, or I'm seeing that the day prior I went to bed before 10 p.m. and it led me to have a good day, or every time this happens, I tend to have higher energy level. I drink tea at night. So I don't even know if it's like the type of tea. Is there a type of tea I'm drinking that I have better energy the next day? I don't know. So I'm literally doing it
every single.
I write down what I eat, what I drink. Yes. And if I have Taco Bell, there's no, I don't fear writing down I had Taco Bell for lunch. I'm okay with it.
Okay, now let me tell you something here. I agree with everything you're saying here. Now here's where the dilemma is. I am so structured that my calendar has every waking moment covered. Like literally, I have lunch in there. I have breakfast. I have even what I'm having for breakfast in my calendar. I have.
But what did you have for lunch last week, Thursday?
What did I have for lunch last week, Thursday? Let me load my calendar. I'll tell you.
So you're already journaling. You're already doing it.
But I'm putting it in a calendar. I'm not doing a physical journal.
But you're keeping track.
But you're keeping track.
Well, yeah, but that's my point. So, but when somebody says put in a journal, put in when what you're grateful for me, I see it as an extra step. You're absolutely right on what you're saying. But I mean, technically, based on what we just said, if you want to write a journal, I can just print out my calendar for the day and staple it in the book, and I've got myself covered.
That's it. I mean,
there you go.
Your way. You're doing your way.
I mean, I got a notes app as well where I have all my notes of everything I need to do. I have
Yeah.
my, you know about my Minute Mondays already. Every Monday I do a minute inspirational quote or whatever. I've got my
Yeah.
topics all laid out, the ones I haven't done and whatever. So, you know what I mean? I've got that. I've got a CRM to track customers.
You guys are making me feel lazy, like legitimately lazy.
No, it's not lazy. That, trust me, this was $5,000 later. Remember, I had a coach. So
And so
I'm more embarrassed to tell my coach that I didn't do it than I am to do whatever he told me.
yeah.
So so I just did it because there's no way I was going to pick up that phone and what had happened when you put this in your calendar this week or put that in your calendar that week? I didn't do it because I didn't really want to. And that's not me. If I said, if I look at it, I paid money and I paid money to do this thing, and I'm going to get my values worth. And if that means he tells me part of succession is doing jumping jacks at 9 a.m., guess what I'm doing at 9 a.m.?
Jumping jacks.
You got it. Now I might add my own twist to it, but I'm doing jumping jacks, right? So it's one of those things that I'm either committed to something or I'm not.
Right.
Yeah.
So my only shame piece in the whole program was that when he said create a gratitude journal, I'm not saying I never did it,
Right.
but that was like one of the last things we did before I cut off. So in 30 days, I might have done 3 days of gratitude journals.
Sure.
So that's my shame in terms of my coaching program. Again, I followed the Darren Hardy program now because I took his thing. I watched his stuff, and I ordered his journal just because it's very simple. And I found that I'm more productive with paper than I am electronic.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right? Like
I agree.
like, so because of that, I figured I can use his journal, initially write it in the journal, then transfer what I need to in the system later if I want to.
Yeah. I mean, you're doing the journaling. I wouldn't feel like you're missing out. And people always talk about how it's so hard to start a new pattern, and it usually comes up around this time, like working out.
Right.
It's January. I'm going to get back on the horse. I'm going to start working out. I'm going to run 5 miles a day or 5 miles a week, whatever your set is.
Oh, by the
I
way,
answer them like, hey, if you haven't run for 6 years, don't set a goal of distance. Set it for like
consistency.
All right, I went for a run today. That's one more day than I did last year. Like, that's a good start. And I was talking to one of my buddies. This was like right out of college, and we were all athletes. But there's something that happens when you're not in. You don't have that why factor. Like, we worked out because we were in athletics and we had to work out for the team or whatever.
Yep.
But when you don't have that coach
It's so
hanging over your head, you lose it. And he's like, I don't know how to start getting back into working out. And I was like, well, when's the last time you put your workout clothes on? Like, just go in your closet, put your workout clothes on, take them off, put your regular clothes back on. That's your start. And then the next day, put your workout clothes on and then walk out to your front door and then walk back in and change back. Like, just little steps. Get yourself comfortable doing it. So you did 3 journal entries. I'll call them journal entries in 30 days. That's a good start. Now, maybe the next month you do 4, or you try to double it and you go to 6.
Makes sense. Now, Marcus, I'm going to tell you something. I got great news for everybody who's saying that getting these new habits are so very, very hard. I got great news for these people.
You just got to find a why. That's my answer. You just have to find a why.
No, I'm going to answer their prayers.
Okay.
All right.
Statistics say that January 21st
Yes.
is when either it becomes a habit because it's been 21 days or
21
people
days.
will break it off.
Yep.
I've
So
heard
the
of
good
that.
news is that they only have 14 more days from today to break it off, and they can come up with all the excuses they want.
Yeah.
Right. So if they can last the 14 days, chances are they can continue.
Here's my, I didn't want to start any like resolutions that I was going to be so very serious about immediately this year. I wanted to really take my time and plan out my resolutions and like plan the steps that I want to take to make the resolution come to fruition. Like, I'm not going to jump both feet into a new business. I'm not going to jump both feet into a new diet, but I am going to sit down and plan out what steps I can take to do both of those things.
Yeah.
Can I be candid?
Yeah.
Without offending you?
Please.
That's the recipe for to procrastinate.
No, I'm not procrastinating. I'm taking steps every single day to build the business and to figure out what products we're going to source, how we're going to source them, where the best prices are. Like I'm researching and I'm doing all this stuff, but I'm not buying. I'm not jumping.
So your New Year's resolution isn't a goal, it's a process, is kind of what I'm hearing your
process, and then I'll be able to conquer the goal. But I want to make sure I have all the information, and I want to make sure I do it the right way.
Right. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But what I mean, first of all, and we're all three of us has made the number one mistake. We called it a New Year's resolution. A resolution means it's something you feel you have to do, not something you want to do. And that's the mindset problem, because we put ourselves in that mindset. All three of us have said it today.
Yes, we have.
Right. So all three of us have done that.
Someone did ask me if I did a New Year's resolution, and I said no. Because I started journaling back in November. So it wasn't quite a New Year's. It was when I listened to this podcast that made it click. So I don't necessarily do New Year's, mainly because I think it's going to fail unless I do. I think it's the reflection. So you put your goals down. That's great. Whatever you want to call it. New Year's resolution, February resolution. I think it's a reflection. Can I go back to it and make sure that I'm staying honest with it? And if I don't, I'm gonna be one of the people that starts at the gym in January and I'm out by February 1.
Yeah, I guess mine just happened to fall into the January timeline just because, well, I quit my job 2 days ago. So thank you very much.
The new job resolution.
The revolution, yes.
See, and then this is where I'm going with. Here's where I'm trying to be candid with, right? So, hey, I said the whole resolution thing. So we're all in agreement on that. Now, reality is goal setting. I believe 100% in goal setting. I don't think that has anything to do with New Year's, right? Like you set up your goals and do it. Now, what I'm saying is your wording is you're setting yourself up for procrastination. That was your wording.
Okay.
What I'm hearing you're actually doing isn't the same as the wording you had said. Right? Because now when you said you quit your job, you are taking steps. You're just telling yourself that you're taking it slow. No, you're taking the steps and you're moving towards it. Too many times we program ourselves to believe that doing and getting all in means that we've jumped off the cliff. We've bought 1,000 products. We don't even know what we're going to do with them, but we bought them and we're right in there. There's stores online. That's not necessarily doing. Sometimes just deciding whether you're going to be on Amazon or on your own website or getting a brick and mortar is a start.
Yeah.
Right. Having a plan, putting the plan into place and having the goal and the roadmap to get there is a form of action.
I can get down with that. I like that.
So don't sell yourself short, Natasha.
Fine. I'm so sorry.
I mean, you quit your job. That's usually the first step to say you are all in. So don't tell yourself you're not all in.
I guess
I will never forget the day that I quit my W-2 income, hopefully for the last time ever in my life. It was such a mix of emotions. It was fear and joy wrapped into one. If you could paint a picture of those two, it was nerve-wracking. Because I was like, I see all these positives and I see what I'm doing, but holy crap, I just jumped off a bridge. And like, I've got no parachute. Because it turns out like a month later, like nothing really changed in my life. I kept going, same person. I worked more, but same person, same goals, same everything.
I literally just quit a job that I was making the most money at that I've ever made in a W-2 type of position ever. And so I'm like, I'm really sad I don't have the money, but I'm really happy that I don't have the stress. So I think it paid off.
Right. So here's my interpretation that you're sad about the money. Translation is you're worried about the money.
Yes.
But you're happy you made the jump.
Oh, for sure. We can afford to do without the money. It's a comfort level,
Yes, of course. But again, growth doesn't come without breaking comfort.
And yes, that's exactly what I was just going to say. You have to get uncomfortable to grow.
You got it.
And I
had to live in like I went onto Google and I said cheapest apartment. And
Yes.
if you look through my grunt phase of building my business, everything started with cheapest entertainment, cheapest dinner, cheapest apartment, cheapest shoes. Like everything was like bare minimum, no thrills. Goodwill and me had this good symbiotic relationship together. Thrift stores, like that's just where I lived for years so that I could get to this. And there's no shame in it. But even when I was doing that cheap living, still feared about money.
Yep, always.
But it's worth it. It is. We just have to like not I'm not embarrassed about it. Like I had a plan, I had a goal, and this was part of my plan. So
Right.
like when people came over, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be open. This apartment's not the most luxurious thing, but check with me in 2 years, things will be different. And like some of them laughed and some of them thought it was a joke. And I was like, nope, this is all part of the plan. This is all it.
I think it's really hard for people who are not entrepreneurs. So like, we'll just call them W-2s. I think it's really hard for W-2s to look at us and be like, what are you smoking, guys? And for us to be like, no, stop. We're not smoking anything. We know we can achieve it. It just takes time. It doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
Right.
If
Well,
it
let's
did,
look
there'd
at,
be a lot more of us.
let's look. 90% of the people that become real estate agents from W-2s, as you would call them,
Mhm.
90% are doing it because they think that this is the way to jump into more money.
Yep.
They're not doing it to help people. Now they're all going to play the same line because they hear it all the time. Oh my God, I do everything for my clients. No, you don't. Oh, yes, I do. And really, no problem. So I saw your video where you said you bought your brand new Mercedes for your client.
Oh yeah.
When was the last time you heard of you went to buy a house and you got an agent and said, oh my God, the guy got a Mercedes, so I'd feel comfortable. I had to use him over the person driving the Nissan Pathfinder. Right? Like, come on, give me a break. Bullshit. You can justify anything any way you want.
Right.
You want to spend the money to buy, go spend the money to buy. Don't tell me it's for somebody else.
Right.
You know, like that's nonsense. And everybody does that. But you know what? 90% of them are there because all of a sudden they need that image and they want that image because they think that's going to bring them the money. And if you told them that they're going to struggle, feel like they're in pain for 10 out of the 12 months just to make the same salary that they just left without any pain,
Yeah.
they wouldn't do it.
And I've obviously becoming an agent, from what I have seen, has been the easiest path into real estate as a career or job. And I always talk to people like, are you going to do this as a career or a job? And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, okay, so you pick up a client. When you start, the hardest thing is getting leads. So your first closing is probably going to be a lead that's passed on by your broker. So with that, you're going to get your closing. Now envision you have your paycheck. You got your first paycheck as an agent. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to pay bills? Are you going to go buy a car? Are you going to go buy some more clothes? Are you going to invest it into lead generation? Are you going to send a thank you gift to your client? Like, where's it going to go? Because how you pick that first cashing of your check is going to depend on where your mindset is on this. Is it going to be a job where you just work more time, you work for more money, you buy more stuff? Or are you going to reinvest it into this career that then you can self-sustain yourself, and then you can actually start working yourself out and having the career work for you and work your money for you? And whatever path you take is fine, but don't jump in and say this is your career when you're going to go spend it on frivolous things rather than reinvesting it into what it could be.
Marcus, I'm going to answer that question for you.
Yeah.
And I'd willing to bet anybody a steak dinner that I'm right. That
Okay.
90% of those people that I talked about, that 90% is going to spend that money into bills.
Yep.
Not because they didn't do the lavish things like the cars and the fancy clothes and whatever, because they did those on their credit cards already long before they got that commission. So now they need that money to pay off those things before they miss payments and get the bad credit.
Yep.
So the ones that have to pay bills because they got the bills and just got the commission, they were not smart with their money, but they were cautious.
Yep.
That 90% have quit their job. By the end of the month, they've had their new car, they've had their new wardrobe, they've had all the new gadgets they're gonna buy. They need a new MacBook because the old one wasn't doing its job. It was doing its job all these years to do anything else they did, but
Right.
for some reason now it can't do it. They need a new
Right.
iPhone because, oh my God, how would they search for listings on an old one? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like all that stuff has already been spent. They're zapping the credit card, and that
Yep.
credit card balance went from, $500 when they quit their job to $9,000. Now all of a sudden they're paying it off slowly because the cash flow they have in their bank
Yep.
will be wiped out if they use their credit card. So they're willing to pay a little bit of interest because next month the commission is coming and they're going to wipe it all off and they're going to start building their fortune.
You know what they're
Then,
going to pay? Their taxes.
yes,
Mhm.
but that's my point. So now you get your first check. It's that $9,000 after you pay your brokerage and everything. You got $9,000 left. Out of that $9,000, we have HST, which is 13%, which is like that is going to be in that. I forgot what your tax would be, but it's like the retail tax, whatever. Everybody has that portion, and it's all different. Different states, different countries, different whatever, have their own version. Then you're gonna have to pay income tax from that. Plus, you're gonna have to pay your broker fees. Plus, you're gonna have to pay your MLS fees. Plus, you're gonna have to pay your board fees. So when you start doing that, really after all that, you've got maybe about 5,500 to 6,000 left.
Yep.
And from there on, you're gonna have to pay for that car payment that you ran out of money from your savings. So now you're gonna need to use that to make your car payment that you bought that you can afford, and you're gonna have to pay off a portion of your credit card so you don't miss a payment there too. When you calculate all that, now you're down to 2,500, 3,000, and you're desperate for that next commission. So you're gonna take on a lease that you just said you hated. So you can get another $1,500. So this way, that'll buy you another month. And you're going to try to chase another lease. You're going to get 4 or 5 of them. Only one of them is going to pan out. You're going to be miserable. And then you're going to try to decide if you're going to want to get on a team or not. Because you're going to get on a team because it's just not happening for you. Your friends just don't use you. And the problem is, it comes down to the same thing we've always said. It's because you don't have a system, you don't have a plan, and you spent your time buying dumb shit to impress dumb people who don't give a shit about you.
Yep.
There was someone just said, why doesn't Lamborghini have commercials? Or why don't you advertise Lamborghinis on commercials? And they said, our clients aren't sitting down watching TV. And I was like, that's a really good answer.
Yeah.
But again, like I've met agents that have their full-time W-2, they take on the realtor stuff on the side. And then that's the position where they come asking like, okay, I picked up real estate, and I'm looking at them like, you picked up another job because you're going to spend it on the stuff that isn't going to last long term. But that's not a bad thing. And I try not to pass my judgment on it because for me, it's my career, and for other people, it's their job. And if you want to get some extra money and you want to buy some extra stuff, by all means, do it. But your struggle is going to be different than mine. So it's going to be harder for me to give you advice because my advice is in a different realm. My advice is to make it a career. So like you got to find another person that has real estate as a job and they can help you manage because it's just a different mindset.
Right. Now I'm going to be honest. There's only been one person I met and that did this part-time on the side. And this was when I was still getting licensed. I met this one person. I went to an open house to look because I had a portion of the class where they talked about open houses. So I wanted to go see, even though I've been to many open houses, I never paid attention. Now that I know what I'm looking for, I wanted to go in and see how the person would, present themselves, what they would do, and compare from what I learned in class. Not only that, the house itself, I was actually interested in because I knew I was going to sell my place and move. And I thought this would be a perfect house for me anyways. So I'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm going to go take a look. Now I met that person, presented well. If he had not told me he was part-time, I would have never known.
Wow.
So I told him, I was honest with him, told him I'm in the process of getting licensed. I'll write my test in 3 weeks. So he kept up with me and offered to help me, gave me some tips and stuff. And I thought that was really generous of him. But that's not the reason why I respect him because, it's good that he wanted to help. I'm not discounting that. Don't misunderstand. But what gave me his respect was that he's honest. He goes, oh yeah, I do this part-time. I'm in IT full-time. It pays me a really decent living. I use this to get part-time income. This pays for my vacation and my gadgets, and beyond that, it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He was so honest about that.
Yep.
Most people try to say, oh, well, I'm going to do this until I make my billions and then I'll quit my job. And then, you know what I mean? Which you never know. Those ones never go anywhere.
Yeah.
Right. Like, because they're all wrong mentality. It goes back to mindset.
Yep. We
But
had a guy on, it was like middle of season 2. So last year sometime. He is a part-time investor. He bought like 3 properties. One was his cottage that he just wanted because he could Airbnb it out and then use it for, I think it was like hunting.
Yeah.
But he was content. He was like, I don't want to buy anymore. Like what I have pays for what I have, and it gives me a little extra fun money. Maybe down the road, if something like slaps me in the face and it's a good deal, I'll buy it. But I'm happy.
Was
I
he
can't remember his name.
Ohio? Was it
It might have been. He was Midwest for sure. But
Archie?
he was a guy like I enjoyed because he was honest.
yes,
He was just, this is where I'm at. I'm happy where I'm at.
Mhm.
And people can do it. They don't need to make a career out of it.
I think we
And
want. I think we personally, our family wants to get one more property. We want to have a West Coast house, an East Coast, and a Central house. Well, I mean, we can go vacation on the East Coast. So
yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Everything you just described about that guy I can answer in one word: gratitude.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's
Yeah.
grateful. That's what it is.
Yep.
He's grateful for what he has. He's not upset about what he doesn't have, which
Yep.
is the way we should all look at things.
I love
We
Yeah.
spend too much time worrying about what we don't have that we completely discard all the wonderful things we are enjoying.
you. Just
Yeah.
make my heart feel so very warm right now. Oh,
When it's negative 1 degree out.
I know.
Heart's warm.
So seriously, I'm sitting here with a heating pad on my legs and a blanket on top of the heating pad and a pillow on top of the blanket and the computer on top of the pillow. I'm freezing.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
So-
Yeah, it's -4 here.
Oh, geez.
My house
Yeah.
has no insulation, so it's a cold house.
Yeah, I know mine is pretty good. Mine's a Newcon, so I've got the latest code, which
Gotcha.
basically means cheap material but very well insulated.
It is true. Man,
Yeah.
to see the old, like, for me, I can see it drastically in the molding, like the crown molding in the baseboard and the molding around the doors.
Yes.
That MDF stuff compared to like the old nice like oak or pine, night and day difference. And that is like
Sure.
the cheap and the quality.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like
it's-
people, like you cannot get the same home today that you got 30 years ago.
100% not.
You know what I mean? Like 30 years ago, let's be honest, 30 years ago, you may want to update the house and renovate it just because it's 30 years old, 40 years old, and whatever, just natural wear and tear.
Yeah.
But there's things to update.
Right.
Today's homes, you don't worry about maintaining what's there and keeping what's there. You rip it out, trash it, and not worry about it because it was cheap crap to begin with.
Yeah. I mean, cabinets, probably MDF, fake wood.
Yeah.
Baseboard, probably fake wood. So like
Yeah.
all of those things, all those fixtures, they're so expendable now that you're just like, yeah, toss it, put a new one in.
My cabinets are
Um,
definitely fake wood. And they are definitely disposable. I got them from IKEA. Like you hang them on
Yep.
and you're done. So like, I mean, I have water damage in my bottom cabinet and I'm like, it's okay. We can replace it in 5 years.
Yeah.
$100, you know?
Yeah.
But
exactly.
when you
Yeah.
go to those custom cabinetry shops and you look at the wood and the quality of them and just how everything works,
Mhm.
you now see like, okay, now I get those high-end homes.
Absolutely.
I get that quality because it's not like you walk into your typical rental unit
Right.
and you see the cabinet you pick up for $100 in, again, disposable
Mhm.
got it.
cabinets.
You got it. That's exactly it. That's what I kept I told somebody one day, and the guy couldn't believe it. He kept telling me, "Oh yeah, it's builder grade, so bottom of the line." No, it's builder grade. Yeah, builder grade is code word for bottom of the line. Whatever they bought at mass discounts
Yeah.
with mass volume.
Once you
Right?
get the
So,
custom, then it's something.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not saying all builder grade is bad,
Mhm.
But the point is, you're not really getting what you think you're getting.
Right.
Yeah, it's not the custom route. It's not that high end. Just isn't.
Exactly. You get what you pay
So-
for. I don't care what anybody says. From the beginning of time to the end of time, it's always going to be you get what you pay for.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. I mean,
And I think the best I think the best real estate investors understand that, and they know their market. So they know, okay, I'm buying a rental unit, this is my price. I'm gonna go with that builder's grade quality. Okay, I'm flipping a home, it's gonna be this price point. We've got to go custom here. We've got to go that high end quality.
Which is,
But once you start to cut corners in terms of, okay, we're going to try and sell at this price point, but we're going to try and go, instead of granite, we're going to do like, I don't even think of a different,
quartz.
Corian's not really an off brand, but like that builder grade instead of a granite.
Yeah, and probably
It
quartz
sticks out
or
like a sore
laminate.
thumb. It sticks out like a sore thumb.
Laminate.
so you could do tile.
Laminate, yeah.
Yeah, granite. But I mean, for our house, I know what price point it's going to sell at. I know what the comps would be in the neighborhoods for the size of house we have, and I knew that custom cabinetry would put it in a price point that would just be too high for our
Yeah.
neighborhood. So
It's
I'm
the
like,
overbuilding.
yeah, I'm like, I have to do it
Overbuild.
for our house. So cheap
Yeah.
cabinet.
Yeah. Well, we've got 5 minutes left, and I haven't even asked you the question I want to ask. So, John, do you feel comfortable sharing some of your upcoming goals? It doesn't have to be for the year, but like obviously you're starting this new business. You talked about another rental unit. So do you have like a timeline on that one?
Well, no, I was using that as an example, but
Okay.
eventually I want to get another rental unit. That will be probably after this mortgage renewal, which is in 3 years.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
I don't like to do double loans. I'll probably do it all at the same time.
Okay.
In terms of my goal, one of them obviously is to get that buyer's agent. That's the first thing I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm working on, that's an active thing right now. Goal number 1, buyer's agent. Goal number 2, family doctor, because I don't have one. And clearly if I'm on meds, I need one.
Yeah.
Third goal is I'm going to, once I get the buyer's agent, then I'm going to start my, probably this is going to be February. I'm going to start my group coaching on a regular basis.
Okay.
So once I got the group coaching class going, then I'll probably become a little too busy to keep track of mundane things. At that point in time, by June, I would like to get an admin assistant.
Yeah.
So,
That is awesome.
yeah, there we go.
Have you read 10X?
I
The
have.
10X rule?
I have.
Yeah. So that's what it reminds me of. You just get too busy that you got to pass it off to people. And the word of 2022 for me is delegation.
Yes.
I've got to get better at delegation. I'm awful at it.
I've got to learn to let go, because that's key.
Yeah. So that's my goal, is delegate. And not in an unhealthy way, but a healthy way, just letting everybody flourish and then letting me flourish where I need to go. So
Their best strengths are, and I think, I had
For sure.
a boss say to me the other day, he's like, I'm not going to give you jobs that you don't like doing because you're not going to do them well. He's like, I'm just going to
Yeah.
give you jobs you like doing, because then you're going to do a really good job at them. I said, you
Right.
are 100% accurate.
You don't have to
Right.
tell people like our meetings. That's fine.
That's funny. That is hilarious. Yeah, but I really believe that. Do what you like. Look, Steam Whistle Brewery had the best slogan ever. Do one thing and do it really, really well.
I'm really good at social media marketing. I'm not really good at cold calling. I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never cold called. I've said from day one, the day I have to pick up a phone call and do a cold call, I quit.
Yep. And I
Right. So it's just not me.
Does anybody here watch Parks and Rec?
no.
I have seen it, but I don't typically. I'll be honest. I'm going to use the Lamborghini commercial. Other than when my sister's little ones are here, I don't really watch that much TV. Like,
Yeah.
I know what I did is I my mind is wandering all the time and it doesn't turn off. So
Yeah.
I use the TV as a distraction to fall asleep.
That
Yep.
makes
And no word of a lie, the minute I turn on the TV, within 10 minutes of the TV being on, I'm out.
yeah.
And it's my guilty pleasure because I used to watch it back when I was in college. When I was super busy in college, I had all this time for TV. So
Yeah.
now it's just because I've seen it, it's background noise. So, but there's one character and it parallels what you just said, John. It was a real somber moment in the show. And he's like, the best advice I had was never half-ass two things, whole-ass one thing.
Yes.
And that's stuck. It's still stuck in my brain. Don't half-ass two things, whole-ass one thing. And it's, if you know the character, it's super funny. But even when you don't know the character, it has some truth to it. It holds. So
For sure.
it always resonates. But it reminded me of what you just said.
Oh, and to continue on my goals based on this, my goal for 2022 is I want 10 one-on-one coaching calls by the end of the year. I mean, coaching
Okay.
clients, not coaching calls. If I only do 10
Coaching
calls,
clients.
that's pretty bad. No, but 10 one-on-one coaching, and then maybe about 50 group. That's my target for my coaching.
That's awesome.
Love it.
Well, I'm looking forward to the end of the year when we're on, what would it be, like show 50 something?
Yes.
Having you back on and checking these goals and seeing where you're at, and not necessarily that you got there, but are we on the way to getting there? Like we go through our goals on marketing and social media. We hit ours last year, but like I think this year we're going to stretch them even more,
Oh,
and
boy.
we'll see how
Fantastic.
far we get to them. So
The pressure on.
pressure is on you.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you know what though? Let's be honest. We don't always hit them, but it's
Right.
did you do the work and how close did you get? Like my 2020, I surpassed my goal. My 2021, I was short.
Mhm.
Yep.
So
And I've hit goals in the past where I didn't feel great. Like I hit it, but I was like, I had more left in the tank. So like
yeah,
if I don't hit a goal, I'm not going to cheat myself too and say like, well, you failed. No, if I didn't hit my goal, but I feel like I put what I could into it, I'm happy. It's just
right.
it's a marker for me.
Right.
So
Absolutely. Like, and for me, let's be honest, 2020 was pure luck for me. I hit a wave and I was able to keep that momentum going. Come
yeah,
2021, and honestly, every time we go into lockdowns, it breaks my wave. So
yeah,
it's one of those things. I feel like I'm always starting from scratch every time we go into these lockdowns, and that's okay. But when that first happened, it killed my wave, and it's not on me, obviously.
yeah.
So
But
now I learned what went wrong. So now that we're in lockdown again, I'm not repeating that pattern.
yeah. But if people need to go on how do I start, you'd be the guy to come to because you've had to start so many times after these lockdowns. So that experience of starting and stopping and restarting is going to help you with this next person that's in that position. So there's a thin line, a thin positive lining in it all.
For sure. For sure. Well, my main lesson is don't stop. The 2020
Yeah.
worked because we went to lockdown and I doubled down.
Yeah.
2021, I hesitated.
So now we're back on the gas pedal.
You got it. That's exactly it.
Back on the gas pedal.
Love it.
100%.
Perfect. Well, we will check back with you at the end of the year for sure,
If not,
just to see where we're all at.
I love him.
Yes.
Thank you.
So easy to take up an hour with you, John.
I know it's one of those things we can keep talking, but it'll be like a month later and we'll be like, it's been a month. Should we stop?
Right. So we will definitely get you back on maybe midway and then at the end of the year. Natasha's got the schedule with that, so check with her. Also, if we can put in the show notes, Natasha, that journal, what was his name again? I forgot his name.
Darren Hardy.
Darren Hardy. If we can put something in the show notes for people that are listening, so that they can take a look at him, obviously as a resource for everybody, I think that'd be a benefit. So
Got it.
awesome.
Yes. Hang on.
Well,
if you give me 30 seconds, I could tell you exactly which one it is.
Got her.
Confirmation, access, where is it? Update, order confirmed. Darren Hardy. It's called Living Your Best Year Ever. And you
Nice.
can get it right off his website at darrenhardy.ca.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll make sure to put that in there. As always, John, thank you for your time. Best
Pleasure.
of wishes. Hopefully this lockdown doesn't put you on a brake pedal for too long.
Definitely not. I mean, it's given me the opportunity, to be honest, that I needed.
Yeah. So keep on that gas pedal, and we look
Will
forward
do.
to good things.
You as well, man. Thanks so much, guys.
All right, we'll talk soon.
Ciao.